Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire allotment adventures on what is turned out to be a beautiful sunny day here. It was mighty frosty this morning down on the allotment. In fact, so much so all the seedlings had to go back inside. Now, today is all about bargains. Yes, bargains at my local DIY store. Planters, half price. Summer bulbs, half price. Potato tubers, half price. Onions, leeks. What else would we have? Lots and lots of bulbs, half price. And that was at one of the big DIY stores that has a little garden section attached. Fantastic. And now I've got these half price. However, I got this bag full of something that's very nutritious for your plants, whether you're on an allotment like me or just at home with a back garden or window box or windowsills. This adds lots of goodness to your plants. Can you guess what it is? It's very heavy too, and as I said, that was all free. Some of the plants I've popped out this morning. Here we have, look, we have my lovely broccolis. Now they wouldn't have survived this morning, in the frost, but I popped them back out. It's a little chilly when the sun's not on them, but they enjoy being out here in the sunshine, and they do enjoy a little bit of breeze too, as I say, to strengthen those stems. So sit back, relax. Welcome to the show. We're going to pop inside the greenhouse for a moment or two while we plant up and sow seeds into our lovely planters. One for bees and one for butterflies. I wonder what difference is in between their seeds. Well, sit back, come on, get your cuppa out, and I'll see you inside shortly. So I've just written on the bottom of my planter bee, because these is going to be the one for the mixture for the bees, and it's always good to keep an eye. Inside you get this bag of peat-free, it does say on the box peat-free compost, and the instructions are very clear. You pop it in here and you've got to leave enough soil to be able to put back on about 1 centimetre on top, but the pressure of that is quite, so that's that. Now what I've done is with the other one, now let me just pop this one down here, because then I've taken that outside to water, and this has now been watered, so it means the seeds are going to go on to a lovely damp soil. So this one is for the butterflies. I'm just reading on here to make sure. It says butterfly attraction mixing. Now this is where the pressure comes in, because it says spread evenly onto the surface. Now let's have a look at these seeds. Good heavens, there's all sorts in here. Very unusual ones. In fact, here's a close-up I did earlier, because as we do, we've got a few of these. So this is the photograph. Oh, knock the microphone. And look at those. And now I've got to space these out in here. So I mix them by hand rather than tip them straight out of the packet. I'm just going to sprinkle in the hope that I get an even coverage, because that's what you need, according to the packet anyway. It says an even coverage, and there's quite a lot of unusual seeds in this, isn't there? I'm not quite sure. Should we have a look on the packet? And I've said this is the butterfly one. So it says we have in here cosmos, lavender, cornflower, baby's breath and candy tuft. And I wonder which is that on the photograph. And here's a photograph of the packet. I've never heard of two of those before. Candy tuft and baby's breath, they'll be interesting. Cornflower I've seen. Now cornflower to me is normally nice and blue, but there's no blue ones on there. But anyway, there you go. And cosmos and lavender, so that's lovely. Can't wait till they come up. Now I've got those in there. I know it says is you have to take the rest of your compost and gently put about 1 centimetre on top of the planter. And so I'm doing that like that. And this obviously is a dry mixture that's going on top. And eventually we will take it back outside to water the top too, but not too much. And it says there is a hole in the bottom of the planter, and there is, I've checked. And so obviously if I keep watering, the water will just run out of the bottom. It suggests these go onto a tray. But aren't they going to look lovely in the summer when it comes up, all the lovely flowers there attracting the beautiful butterflies. As I say, I've got one now to do for the bees. So well, I'll let you go and potter off, and I'm going to go and potter off too. And well, I hope you don't pot off because we're only halfway through the video. See you shortly. Well, here I'm sat in the sunshine, and it's absolutely glorious now. It's freezing this morning. Anyway, I'm here to talk about what was in this bag. And as I say, I've used these before, and it's very useful for soil improvers, for just adding more nutrients into your soil. I'm of course talking about coffee grounds, and there it is, a whole massive big bag. And I was driving past a drive-through coffee shop this morning, and suddenly I thought, oh, I wonder if they've got any coffee grounds spare. I popped into one or two before, and they go, oh no, sorry, we've chucked them away and blah blah. Although they won't go and get me out of the bins, which I think is a bit unfortunate. But this was very helpful, young lady, and thank you very much. Brilliant. And she said, we haven't got very much. Oh, well, it's a massive bag. It weighs an absolute ton. This I'm just going to sprinkle liberally around my allotment. It's a soil improver, it's fantastic. But I like it. I'm going to put it near some of the delicate plants that will be going out shortly that are prone to be attacked by the slugs and the snails because they don't like it. It's a really good barrier to them, and I'm going to hold some back in the hope before I get some more, hopefully, fingers crossed, and I can keep popping it in the same area to keep them away. They don't like the texture of it. It's very coarse and rough, apparently. The smell also does distract some pests also. Some people say it does. Rats and mice don't like it, but I can't vouch for that. I don't know whether it works or not. You have to be careful as well. Some people say that the bees don't like the smell of it. So it is difficult, but I'm trying to dig it into my soil here. It mainly goes into the big areas and not near where my bees are going to be. So we don't want to keep it away from any of the flowers here because they're great pollinators. Speaking of flowers, as I said earlier, bulbs half price, and it's still time. We've got a month. These are gladioli. They're called Princess Margaret Rose, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Here's a photograph, in fact. And it says on the back here, they've got brilliant little diagrams. Sometimes they're rubbish, but these have actually got words on them and they're really helpful. You can still plant up to the end of May. They'll flower between, well, it says flowers July, September, but obviously mine will be more September time, aren't they? Because they're only just going in. And they're like sunshade, so I'm going to work out where to put them on the allotment. I might try and get them into the banking. That'd be rather lovely, wouldn't it? And because here's too hot, they have full sun here. Whereas partial sunshade would be very nice on the bank. And well, I look forward to it. Now, originally they were £3.50 per pack. And in here you get 15 bulbs, which is brilliant. Of course, I only paid £1.75. And that's brilliant. And that was from one of the superstores, the DIY superstores that have a little garden section attached. Obviously, your local nurseries and your local garden centres, they probably won't be having the sales because obviously, most of the time, they grow their own, which is brilliant. In fact, I popped to mine this morning and they've got all sorts from really tiny pug plants up to, really decent sized tomatoes that they're bringing on all by themselves. I don't need any, luckily. But again, they weren't bad. £1.20 for a tomato plant and a pepper, both chili peppers and sweet peppers. They've got carrots, they've got leeks, they've got sweet corns and stuff. So yeah, really, really good selection. But then our local one does supply the local councils with some plants, more of an industrial nursery, but they are open to the public. But isn't it fantastic? You can still get some bargains, and they understand what they're growing because that's their business. Sometimes the big shops really don't know, they overbuy, and look what happens, we get bargains. So more bargains, please. Fabulous. Welcome back inside the greenhouse for a very short visit. I've done the second planter now. I put the seeds in for the bee mix, and here's a photograph, and they're completely different. In fact, let's try and put the two photographs together and you'll see the contrast between, I think, fingers crossed if I can do it, on the left hand side is going to be the one for the butterflies, and on the right hand side, fingers crossed, they are the bee mix. So that's very good. And again, I'm just going to pop on top. These were in the sale, half price, so I got two for the price of one, really. But you could probably roughly do it a little cheaper if you had planters already. Your seed packet of seeds are about £2.50 onwards, so between £2 and £5, let's say. And then of course you've got your compost to buy, but it depends how much compost, doesn't it? If it's this is seeded compost, that was about £4.50, and that's 20 litres. However, you can get the bigger bags for around £5–6 with 40 or 50 litres in. So, you know, it's up to you, because you could do lots and lots of planters, I suppose, with one larger bag. But still nice though, and it comes in a lovely container, and I can't wait to see these grow. But as I enjoy my cup of tea here on the allotment, I think we should go to a viewer before we leave today's show. And we're going to go to Janet in Wakefield in the UK. Janet's been a contributor, regular contributor throughout all of the adventures here on the allotment. And while you're growing again, and you're growing cabbages, cauliflowers, lettuces, cucumbers, radishes, tomatoes, of course. And it's fantastic. Now, what's interesting is, and you sent me the pictures, thank you for those again, and we'll go through them in a minute. But as you see here, all the cabbages and the cauliflowers and the broccolis all look identical as seedlings. It's really difficult to tell them apart. And so I had to ask you for a list, so thank you for that, Janet. And well, good luck with your radishes. I've got some radishes in again this year. Mine didn't do too well last year. I'm going to have a go. So we'll fingers crossed with those. They're supposed to be one of the easiest things to grow. But maybe they're just in too much full sun. They didn't like it, I don't know. Or maybe the soil wasn't deep enough here, because I had them in my growing frame. So we'll see how it goes. But Janet, fantastic. So as I say, you've got cabbages and cauliflowers. You're growing lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes. Fantastic. And of course, not forgetting peas. Now, as I've said before, I'm not growing peas this year. I was sorely tempted though yesterday, because I was in a garden centre and they had a packet of 6 for just over £2. I thought that was cheating. I've not had a go myself. But well, next time here on the allotment, should we talk about companion planting a little bit? And well, I've got my sweet corn coming up. I've no beans, runner beans, so we can't do what's called a 3 sisters planting. But more of that next time. Once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Thank you, Janet, once again for your photographs, and everybody's contributions, for your lovely messages this week. I've had some lovely messages, and we may go through those on Sunday as well. It's been great. The weather's slightly changing here, and it's getting a little overcast. It may look like rain. Here in the UK, Devon and Cornwall, you're in a drought situation. Hosepipe bans, all that sort of thing. Isn't it weird? You think at this time of year, having had the winter time, that we'd have plenty of water around, but you haven't got much at all in your reservoirs. So we are feeling for you here. And well, fingers crossed it's soon resolved, that you can get your water supplies back. Remember, if you have got plants growing, a little and often is better than nothing at all. And water to the roots. Don't just liberally water everywhere. And hopefully things will survive for you down there. So fingers crossed. Once again, as I say, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time here. So cheers on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Ta-ra for now.